Once again, thank you, Emilio, for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Many fans back here in Hong Kong, they're really interested in a player like you because, to put it simply, they see a name on the list and they see a very Italian name, actually.
Yeah.
But they look at the face, it's actually an Asian face. Yeah, I think fans are pretty curious. So, can you just briefly talk about your personal background and what happened?
I mean, for me, it's been one of the things that's frustrated me a little bit more. Um, just because having such an Italian name, it's quite difficult to be not recognized, but sometimes when you go with Hong Kong team, for example, last year in Kai Tak,
Hmm.
nobody really knew me until after the two games,
Yeah.
even though I had spent my entire childhood at Kichi.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it was a little bit frustrating, but I can understand why. So to give a little bit of background on that, so I was born in Hong Kong.
Hmm.
But I was adopted when I was a kid, into an Italian family.
Yeah.
But they lived in Hong Kong. They'd had already have been living there for 20 years.
Hmm.
So I spent 13 years of my life basically in Hong Kong. I started playing in Wan Chai,
Yeah.
and then I slowly moved and progressed into Kitchi. And
Hmm.
I was in Kitchi from under 10s up until under 16s.
Yeah. Until under 16. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 16s.
Hmm. And then you move abroad to Spain.
Yeah, and then I moved to Barcelona, so this was more of a family decision rather than
Hmm.
a footballing decision.
Yeah.
So my family always wanted to move back to Europe, obviously being Italian,
Hmm.
but they didn't want to move back to Italy since, they grew up there and, they were like, you go there all the time anyway. So we decided to move to Spain instead, and Barcelona seemed like one of the nicer places.
To have
So
some
yeah, I ended up
like
moving to
new
Barcelona.
experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously going to a new place, new experiences, it's always nice. It was a bit difficult at first with the language,
Hmm.
to learn Spanish and to communicate with my teammates, but it was a very good choice.
Okay, so like that's actually a family decision to for you to move to Barcelona.
Yeah.
And like you immediately start playing football there as well.
Yeah, so it was a family decision to move back to Europe, but
Hmm.
it was also keeping in mind that they thought that I could really improve my football in Europe.
Yep.
Um, so essentially moving to Europe was, yeah, my family was like, let's go back to sort of, more of a hometown for us, but it was also this is where you can really get good at football. And I was
Hmm.
really lucky because Kitchi has strong connections with Spain.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I was able to write some messages, write some emails, and then I got in contact with the team, and I had a team in 3 days.
Oh, that's actually pretty quick. Like you
Yeah,
can't
it
really
was
do
very,
that
very
without
fast.
like the connection from Kichi.
Yeah, it was really surprising and really fast.
Yeah. So where did you first play in Spain?
So I played for a team called Jabak y Terrassa,
Hmm.
which is it was a very local team in a town just outside of Barcelona.
Yeah.
And essentially the reason it was so popular is because it's where Busquets played
Hmm.
and Xavi played as well when they were kids. So Busquets was there actually until I think 15, 16,
Hmm.
and then ended up moving. So, it was a very well-known team at the time. And I was
Hmm.
lucky because my coach, he coached at La Masia.
Yeah.
So he coached players like Lamine Yamal, Ansu Fati, Xavi Simons, Fermin Lopez, and like
Yeah.
all the La Masia players you see now, he coached,
Very
which was
impressive
very, very,
portfolio.
very
Yeah.
special. Yeah.
Indeed. So that's where you started like the football career in Spain.
That's where I
How
started my football career in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. How was the experience like to play under such a well-known club in Spain and to like receive guidance from coaches that has experience in obviously La Masia, such a prestigious academy. So how was the experience like?
Yeah, it was really good. I'd say I left Hong Kong in December, which means that I joined halfway through the year.
Hmm.
So it took a while to get my registration in. So obviously playing games at the first like month or two I
Yeah.
wasn't able to just because getting a registration halfway through the year is quite difficult. And I struggled a little bit with the languages. I will say Kichi helped a lot in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the way we used to train was very similar to the way they train in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'd say adapting to the new experience and the new country was very, very fun, but I will also say it was very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say that being under the guidance of a coach that knows so many people and it has such a big reputation
Yeah.
was very, very helpful. You know, he spent a lot of time with me, even when I moved from under 16s to under 19s, because he then became the coach of the under 19s as well.
Yeah.
And he was the one that actually moved me up because I should have spent one more year in under 16s.
Mm-hmm.
But he trusted me enough to move me straight up into the under 19s. And then eventually, when I moved to Madrid, he was the person that put me in contact with my coach now.
Okay. So like you transferred directly from the club in Barcelona to the current club you're now like in Madrid.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. So why the switch like from Barcelona and Madrid, especially when you're building up your career in Barcelona?
Yeah, so a lot of my teammates and friends really questioned the decision.
Hmm.
But ever since I was at Kitchi, me and my family, our idea was to move for me to move to the States and play Division One football
Hmm.
at a university and sort of boost my career, not only football wise, but also academically.
Yeah.
And a lot of people question the decision because obviously a lot of players from Hong Kong have not really done that. I know two that I played with, which are Osmond and Jeremy, which is Jeremy has already made his debut for the Hong Kong men's team
Yeah. Yeah.
against Manchester United.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
so so a lot of people question the decision of, oh, why are you moving to Madrid? Why are you changing teams? And the main reason we moved to Madrid is because there's an American university here,
Oh.
and it would have made it very, very easy to transition from the American university into the United States.
Hmm.
So basically, what I've done is I've moved to Madrid and I'm taking part-time classes.
So you're
And
taking
I'm
like
taking
part-time. Oh, sorry. So, yeah.
I'm doing part-time school to get used to sort of college and the environment of being in a university to
Hmm.
then, after this season ends, when I finished my under 19s career in Spain, then I can take everything I've learned into the United States.
So the plan from the start is to like to like ensure a smooth transition, I would say, from
Yeah.
like your football career and your academy football in Spain and to like a college career in the
Mhm.
States. So that's the
Yeah.
plan from the start.
That's been the plan from the start. And then another reason I switched from Barcelona to Madrid is
Mm.
because in Barcelona I was playing fifth division
Yeah.
under 19s and I was in Madrid on holiday and we'd already decided we're going to make the transition into Madrid and we were looking for a team. And as I said before, this coach that had, obviously a lot of connections was able to get me in contact with a coach in Madrid.
Hmm.
And this team was a first division under 19s team, which
So it's a
means
big
that
move. Yeah.
I made a four division jump as well as being able to ensure the smooth transition into the States later on.
Mm. Then that's a very impressive like decision to make.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was difficult because now I'm, living alone and I don't have my family close by to support me, but
Hmm.
it's been good for me.
So your family they're still in Barcelona, right?
My family are in Barcelona now, but they're going to move to Italy in the next couple months.
Oh, okay. So you'll be the only one to stay in Spain.
Yeah, I'll be in Spain until the end of May, which will
Mm.
be when I have my final exams.
Yeah.
And then the summer period will be me just transitioning into the United States.
So it's like they already ensure an offer to you, like to play and study in these days, right?
Yeah, so I have an agent
Mm-hmm.
that I've had for about a year or two now.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been in talks with many coaches about going to the States, and I've already been to the States and I've visited some schools. So yeah, we have a pretty clear picture in our head.
Very nice. So you mentioned like the success or the examples of like Osman and also Jeremy playing football, trying to develop their career
Yeah.
in the United States while like finishing their college career. So is that something you would like to like follow? Like is that the pathway that you would like to follow in like pursuing your football career? Do you think it's the right move for you?
Yeah, I think now that I'm older and more mature,
Yeah.
I do think it's the right choice. Just because you see the magnitude of players that try and sort of don't have their own backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that when I was, 14, 15 at Kitchi, I always thought, maybe there's a chance I can go straight to professional. Maybe if I stay in Hong Kong, I would have had a bigger chance.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been some talks, but very, very minor talks of, me going back to Hong Kong now, studying at HKU and maybe, playing for Hong Kong Premier League team.
Yeah.
But they're just not very convincing enough for me. And I think the States following sort of more Jeremy's path since he's in Division One,
Yeah.
um, just the opportunities, the facilities, the opportunity for scholarship. So I wouldn't say cheaper because the States is quite expensive, but cheaper in
Yeah,
terms of the
exactly.
overall price. Um, most of the schools I'm talking to are in very good areas of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that, if I end up having a 4 or 5 year career of football, which is gonna be guaranteed for me now,
Mm-hmm.
that I'll take the 4 or 5 years, I'll get the most out of it, and I'll finish with a degree, and I'll
Yeah.
be able to, get a very good job because I'll be in good areas of the United States. Or the second idea would be to have a good college career and then get into the MLS draft,
Mm-hmm.
and then from the MLS draft go into Europe. Yeah.
So you just mentioned like you have options of course like from like many places. Like you have options to play in Hong Kong, of course. Like and also like to maybe going straight to European leagues. So what do you think is the differences between like the football in Hong Kong and also in Europe, like ex especially in Spain?
Yeah, so I will say that I do think the training
Hmm.
sessions are relatively similar in the way they're run.
Yeah.
So it'll be warm up, rondo, possession, small side things like that. That is very similar, especially with now Hong Kong having, a lot of foreign coaches.
Hmm.
Sort of the pathways and academies now are having more foreign coaches, so they're implementing their own styles, which is
Yeah.
very similar to what they do in Europe, but I'd say overall it's just the physicality and the speed. I think in Spain it's a lot more you wouldn't expect it because Spain everyone thinks it's very tiki-taka, very but
Hmm.
these are only the first three divisions of Spain. When you go down into four, five, six, it's very, very physical. Everyone's fighting for their spot. I think in Hong Kong it's very I'd say it's a little bit more in the academy level, a little bit more lenient towards certain players. They want to give everyone, oh, we want to give you a little bit more time to play. We want to make sure things are even. But in Spain, it's very, this is the 11.
Hmm.
If you want to get into the 11, it's not going to be you train well for 1 week and you can get your place in the starting 11. No, you have to train well for 1 month, a month and a
Yeah.
half. And then you get a chance. You get maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And if you don't do well, you have to start again. It's another 1 month process. So I'd say it's very more strict here,
Yeah.
a lot more physical. There's, much bigger players than there are in Asia, in
Yeah.
Europe, of course. And yeah, just the speed of play, the way players think about what they're going to do beforehand.
How about like mentally, any differences in the mental elements and also in the attitudes of players?
I'd say the attitudes of players are quite different
Hmm.
here than in Hong Kong, just because especially in the first team I played for, it was a very, poor sort of area.
Yeah.
So a lot of kids actually didn't go to school.
Hmm.
And they were already working jobs at 15, 16 years old, which means that they have a different sort of view on the football and a different sort of, hunger to play and, want to do well and
Hmm.
want to prove themselves and want to get to a next level. Whereas I think in Hong Kong that there is that, especially more now with more opportunities getting given to younger players. But I also do think in Hong Kong, everybody goes to school.
Yeah.
All the players all go to school and they're all going to graduate in high school. Whereas in Spain, it's very, very different. Only about 20-30% have actually had the opportunity to do that. So I'd say that's actually really helped me mentally,
Yeah.
because I see sort of the two sides. I see, Hong Kong as one side and Spain as the other. And I feel like living in Spain for the past 3-4 years has really helped me because mentally now I'm always able to push harder,
Hmm.
knowing that there's, some people that have had to really work hard to where they are. And I also want to push myself even harder.
I think it's more like a like for players in Europe or maybe in Spain, it's just more like a make or break situation for them. So if you
Yeah.
don't succeed in this level of football, you have to move, like you have to make the switch from football to something else. So
Yeah, which
yeah.
is what we see now. They're, implementing new sort of schools or academies in Spain where it's specifically directed to getting players in, having them study, get some marks, get some grades, and then going to the States.
Hmm.
So I've seen it with 2 or 3 players that I know that in the last year of under 19s, they were like, okay, this might not work. So
Yeah.
they went into these programs, they took some exams, they got some good marks, and then they ended up going to the States and now are playing at very good schools. So yeah, I think people now are realizing more the importance of having sort of the second option
Yeah.
there. And I do think that it needs to be more like forced onto at a younger age because there's too many that end up not going to where they think they can go.
That's actually a very mature perspective from you, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't believe in myself. I
Hmm.
do believe in myself very, to a very high extent. But I also think that, there's certain levels in which that you can say, I'm gonna make it to here.
Hmm.
And you always need to, have in mind that, there's not going to be too many second chances, especially once you reach 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You have to start getting a job, start organizing your life, you need to get, maybe your own apartment, you live away from your family, there's not that many options to make mistakes. So as many backup as you can have, probably I'd say the better for yourself.
But like for you now, the aim is to make it in the United States. So
Yeah, so
that's
my
the
my aim
priority. Yeah.
is yeah, my aim is the United States because it's guaranteed education. It's a guaranteed scholarship and it's guaranteed football for
Hmm.
4 to 5 years. You leave with a degree and on one side you make your family happy that you've continued on the education side. On the other side, you're happy because you're playing football at a very, very high level. And then, yeah, the idea is to, play in the States for as long as possible and then continue with, Hong Kong representative team and, keep coming back as many times as possible.
Very nice. Have you decided what to study in the United States?
Yeah, so it's heavily focused on international business.
Hmm.
I just feel like I've lived in Spain, I've lived in Hong Kong, and now living in the States. I'm quite international. I've met a lot of different people. I can speak, English, Spanish, Italian. I can understand some Chinese. So I
Not
think
much
it's
Cantonese, huh?
not much, but I notice sometimes with Hong Kong team that they try to give me a translator, but most of the times I understand everything. Um, so yeah, I mean that's sort of the idea to go into international business.
Very nice. So it's good for you to like talk about the the representative team of Hong Kong because that's what I would like to discuss further.
Yeah.
Um, so you came back for the Kai-Tak tournament last year, and then you
Yeah.
also went to the under 20 training camp in Bangkok, I think last month. Yeah,
Yeah, we were
at
in
the end of last
Bangkok
month.
in March and then Foshan in November.
November exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what does it feel like to represent Hong Kong?
Oh, it's very, I think for me, in comparison to most of the players on the team, it's very, very, very special.
Hmm.
Um, because I always thought when I made the transition into Kichi under 12s, under 13s, under 14s, I felt like almost every single week, somebody from Kichi would ask me, "Do you have Hong Kong passport? Do you have Hong Kong passport?" Because obviously, as we discussed previously, I have a very Italian name,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Chinese face, so I'd assume that, people wouldn't expect firsthand to see that to understand that I would have a Hong Kong passport.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I felt like every single week I was getting, "Do you have Hong Kong passport? Do you have Hong Kong passport?" So I'd go home and tell my parents, "Oh, this might be the chance. This I might have my opportunity now."
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it never came.
Uh-huh.
And I was, I wouldn't say very disappointed because I never really understood what it meant to represent, um, your country, your city.
Mm.
So I sort of just let it slide. I moved to Spain. And then after a year in Spain, I got into contact, or the representative team got into contact with me and asked me to send some footage
Hmm.
of me playing. And luckily in under 18s 2024, I was able to get my first call up
Yeah.
for just a local camp. And then in 2025, um, oh no, sorry, in 2025, Darren was head coach
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
the national team. Oh, sorry, excuse me. So in 2023 December, I got my first under 18s call up.
Under 18, who's the coach? Is it Taku?
It was Sito sir at the
Is it
time
Jose? Okay.
because it wasn't a very put together camp. It was sort of like, okay, these are some players that we think are interesting. Let's put them together and see if
Yeah.
we can put them into the main team, I guess
Hmm.
you could say.
I think they did
And
that
then
like several times every year.
yeah, and then in 2024, which is when Darren was appointed
Hmm. Yeah.
as coach of the under 20s at the time, it was specifically under 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did a month-long camp in preparation for AFC.
Hmm.
So I was 15 at the time in the under 20 camp,
Yeah.
and it was a very big camp. We started with 50 players and ended with 23. And I was able at 15 years old to make every single, sort of elimination process into the 23-man squad.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it into the final AFC squad, which was quite disappointing for me.
Uh-huh.
But, I still kept getting called up. So again, Kai Tak tournament in 2025, so the year after. And I
Hmm.
think that's sort of where I got my name mostly out there, I'd say, in the Hong Kong fans, Hong Kong community.
Yeah.
Because I was, 16, under 20s. I was the only player to play 90 minutes both games.
Hmm.
And I think overall had a pretty good performance. And that was the first time I really understood what it felt like to represent Hong Kong because it was the first time, we stayed in a hotel together as a team.
Yeah.
It was the first time we played in front of some fans. It was the opening of the youth stadium in Kai Tak.
Hmm.
So that was the first time I really felt like representing Hong Kong. And yeah, it's a very, very, very good feeling.
It really helps that you play on a very, very pleasant stadium, a very new stadium, and also in front of a uh, very passionate fans. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not really something common for youth competition, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there as well.
Oh,
You
were you?
you did really well, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. So have you made any friends in like of course you have some friends in Kichi, and have you made any more
Mm.
new friends in like in the national team?
It's difficult to say new friends because a lot of these players I played against when I was younger,
Yeah.
um, I wouldn't say I'm good friends with them, but a lot of the players that when I go back now, it's sort of the that sort of under 14 league we had. It was, let's say, the top five of every team in Hong Kong. Sort of all those players are now with the under 20 national team,
Hmm.
representative team. So of course I'm friends with Callum Bloxham. I don't know
Yeah,
if you know him.
of
I grew
course.
up
Yeah.
with Callum. I grew up with Ryan Falk.
Ryan Falk, yeah.
I grew up with him. I've known him my whole life. James Wright, the goalkeeper.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've known him since I was like 2 years old.
Wow.
Um, Of course, Max as well. He played at Kitchi, Max
Hmm.
Chan.
Max Shang, yeah.
Um, Li Ching, Boto, all those players I've known since I was like 11, 12. So I wouldn't say it's new friendships, but I'd say it's people that I know, and it's good that every 3, 4, 5 months we can come back and see each other.
Yeah.
But also now in the under 20s being more of the senior player, because I remember I was 14, 15 going into the under 20s, and how they treated me and how I was able to integrate myself into the team. Now being the more senior player on the team, it's really nice seeing all the young players come in. For example, this camp, we had the opportunity to invite Joshua Baker,
Yeah. Very impressive
from the
player.
States, and he was a very, very, very good player.
Hmm.
Um, Even playing out of position in striker, he demonstrated that he can play at the under 20s level, no problem.
Hmm.
So it's nice to get to know all these, not new faces, but younger kids that are moving into our age group. So yeah, it's good.
Good. Like that's a transition like from you like being a smaller or younger member of the camp before, and then like until now you're becoming like you're taking a more senior role in the camp. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's also a good learning experience for like for you. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've always seen myself as a leader,
Hmm.
I'd say. So even when I was 14, 15 in the under 20s, I was always very vocal, very loud.
Yeah.
Um, so even not being a captain or not being part of a leadership group or not being, considered one of the, more bigger known players in the under 20 representative team, I still want to always picture myself as a leader and someone who can, bring up the younger players, but also help the players around me. So I think it's been good to be that young player that's now a more senior player in the team.
Very nice. So how would you describe the level of football you're having within the representative team? So you've just mentioned you play with some very talented younger players like Joshua, and also some of your like friends before. So how
Yeah.
was it like the level of football in the camp like? And how was the guidance you received from Darren?
Yeah, I'll be honest, the level of the camp surprised me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now and in the Kai Tak tournament in the summer. I'd say 2025 Kai Tak and 2026 Thailand, Bangkok have been the camps that have surprised me the most in terms of the level
Yeah.
of the team. Obviously in Kai Tak, I was, still younger, so I was playing with older guys,
Mm-hmm.
that are now majority, I think all of them are playing at Hong Kong Premier League teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the time, it was their first or second year in Hong Kong Premier League, and you can really tell the difference from playing with these guys the summer before in the AFC preparations to after they turn pro.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can tell that the speed, decision making, physicality does improve even playing in the Hong Kong Premier League. It might not be a European league or Japan or Korea, but
Mm-hmm.
just playing with men really changes the way that you play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was left quite surprised. And of course, coming back now with, all the people that I know, um, now playing Hong Kong Premier League teams, most of them playing at football club, some of them playing at, Rangers, some of them playing at Kitchi.
Yeah, maybe.
You can really tell that there's been a lot of improvement.
Hmm.
Even in players that I saw 3, 4 months ago, you can tell that the progression's been very high.
Yeah,
And then of course Ryan, he's on his, sort of own path in Dubai.
yeah, exactly.
So I already have high expectations for him, especially him being, one of my best friends. So I always expect him to have improved a lot.
Okay, yeah. In return, I would say I have like high expectations to all of you as a like young academy football enjoyer.
Yeah.
I've been following your uh like the progression of you guys since like a very younger age, I would say. I
Mm.
watched your highlights, I think in 2024 or three, I don't know, or 23, I don't know. Yeah, I was
So
left pretty impressed. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that was the first. That was like my last year in Hong Kong, my first year in Spain, sort of.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been a very, very long journey.
Mm.
I wouldn't say easy at all. I think a lot of people from the outside perspective will be like, oh, he had the opportunity, so he moved and this and that, but it comes with a lot of, difficulties, especially, living in a new country, trying to balance school, balance football, balance, everything, your family at once. It's very difficult. So, yeah, to the outside eye, it seems like a very seamless transition, but it's very, very difficult, and there's a lot of internal things that people don't tend to see.
Yeah, that's why I would like to like host interview like this so people can understand more about like
Mm.
the story behind. Yeah, if we don't shed light on like story like this, then people wouldn't understand how difficult like or how much effort that these players have made. Like
Yeah,
for these transitions to be made so easily apparently. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's not that easy.
Yeah, there's many things that happen in the background that obviously don't get disclosed as much as well as me not. Yeah, I've never really had sort of the spotlight in Hong Kong, so
Mm-hmm.
I've not really had, any articles, any interviews, any, sort of, social media posts happen about me. And, I keep my social media pretty private. I don't
Mm-hmm.
tend to post too much or,
Yeah.
show too much of what I'm doing on social media. So obviously people would assume, oh, Hong Kong player playing in Spain. That's, nice. But, there's not a lot of background information on me,
Mm-hmm.
especially with me only joining the representative team, very recently, past three,
Yeah,
four
yeah.
years. So I think it's good now that I'm sort of taking initiative to reach out and to want to explain my story. So I know that now there's a lot of kids in Hong Kong, especially growing up now that have aspirations to one day play in Europe and one day, play outside of Hong Kong or maybe become a professional in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So it's good that now I see a lot of players that are living overseas take initiative, get interviews and be able to tell the story so these kids can see them.
Mm. Yeah, that's very good initiative for you to take, I'll say. So do you have any aspirations or like your ultimate ach aim or like any career plans after like your study in the United States?
Yeah, so I try to keep most of my things short term.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep them in intervals of couple of months.
Yeah.
So let's say January to March, I want to get a certain amount of starts, or
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to Hong Kong and train with the representative team, or I want to, I tend to keep it in short intervals rather than years ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say the main aspiration is, go to the United States, get a degree, maybe even 2 degrees,
Yeah, yeah.
get drafted into the MLS
Mm-hmm.
and then build, and then again that's sort of the next 3 4 years, and then after, if that were to happen, then again we restart another 4 years. Let's see, in 4 years after that, maybe I'd want to get into Europe, or maybe I enjoy the States so much that I want to stay. It's very hard to, now that I'm in the transitional period and haven't really lived in the States yet, it's hard for me to say. Maybe
Yeah.
after the States I don't enjoy it that much, but I can come back to Hong Kong with a degree and maybe play for, I've always, my dream has always been to eventually come back one day and play for Kichi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if or when that will happen, but
Yeah.
it's been a dream. So maybe after the States, if I don't like it, I can move back and maybe talk with whoever the coach may be at the time. There's many, many different avenues that I can go.
Mm-hmm.
But I think moving to the States is one of the best decisions I can make.
Yeah, I think it's important to like keep as many avenues for you as possible. So, and I think you're on the right track. Like, and even if like the plan doesn't work in the States, you can always come back. And I think if you did came back this season, I think you would play under Inigo. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's the coach at the moment. He's Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's asked about me, sort of because, Hong Kong player playing in Spain. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure, he's had or he's heard of Tuscany, of course, because
Yeah, because
Tuscany's moved to Spain. I don't think he was in charge when Tuscany was there, but
no.
obviously he's heard about him. I'm sure he's also heard about Vito.
Yeah, Vito.
Vito, he's also playing in Spain. So I'm sure that he wants to bring in maybe some local players that have played in Spain. So depending on how long he's in charge, maybe we get back in contact. Maybe I come back after university in the States. No one really knows what's going to happen in the next 10 years. No one knows what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. So we just have to be patient and I just got to do my work, keep my head down, and hopefully the best happens and whatever happens, it's the best for me. So,
All right, that's a very, I would say that's a very positive mindset from you, and also a very mature things to a very mature attitude to look at things. Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
mean,
good
I'm
to
quite
like, yeah, it's good to like ha have this mindset at the age of
yeah,
18.
I'm quite aware that things won't always go your way.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it was very, very good for me to have that. I think the most pivotal moment in my life so far was not making it into the 2024 AFC
Yeah,
with the under 20s because I had a very, very good month that camp and I won the player of the month in the camp. I won player of the match in our last match. So being 15 and having all the senior players around you telling me like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna go, you're gonna do well, this is it's a good opportunity for you." And even some of the staff, giving me a lot of encouragement into me thinking that I would be going to AFC in 2024 and then me ending up not going.
yeah,
It's really taught me that sometimes you can really, really, really work hard for something and it may not happen, right? So, but then it also taught me that what happened after that is, I got signed to an agency. I got signed to a Division 1 team in Madrid.
yeah.
I've gone back with the Hong Kong team 3 or 4 times. So I also know that, there's always going to be setbacks, there's never going to be a straight line. And
Hmm.
there's always going to be setbacks in everything, which is why it's important because then I was still in school, I was still playing football, but let's say those things weren't really happening and weren't going well for me. And let's say I had put everything into going into AFC and
Hmm.
then didn't go, I wouldn't have had any backup. So that sort of taught me now that, I'm finishing school now, I'm gonna move away from my family. I'm still gonna pursue football, but I gotta make sure that I'm backed up by a school, by facilities, by everything in the States as well. Because I feel like if I just went to the States or just went to Hong Kong to try and be professional,
Yeah.
I think in Hong Kong there's a possibility that it would happen.
Hmm.
But what happens if I get injured? What happens if something happens and my contract gets terminated, then I'm stuck because I'm far away from my family. I don't have a degree. I'm not playing football. So,
Yeah, and it's so important to believe the best is yet to happen. The best is
yeah,
yet to
I
come.
do think that, yeah, I do think when I was younger, it was difficult to believe that because I always thought, oh, I'm playing for Kitchi. Like things should be going more smoothly or things should be. But then you learn that, you're playing for Kitchi, which is on one hand very, very positive, but on one
Mhm.
hand it's also, it's Kitchi. You have to keep a reputation, you have to always perform, you have to make sure you're at your best all the time. So it's very double-sided everything, but you just got to try and look always at the positive.
Yeah, exactly. As a final question, I was thinking like, can you just name some names that you think is the best player in your generations, like in Hong Kong?
Oh, in my just so I'd say 2007s, we'd say
2007,
2007.
yeah, yeah, 2007,
I think the
2008.
very, very, very good 2008s and 2007s, I'd say Sing Jun at Kitchi.
Hmm. Yeah.
Chan Sing Jun, he was my captain for a year or 2 years or 3 years. He
Hmm.
was my captain for a very long time at Kitchi.
Yeah, yeah.
And we played in the midfield together, so I know him very, very well, and he's amazing. He plays at Kitchi, already played with his under 23s, with Hong Kong. So I'd say Sing Jun, I'd say Ryan,
Ryan, yeah,
which plays for
yeah.
Gulf United.
Hmm.
I'd say Li Ching,
Hmm.
which plays at Football Club. Um,
Already a first
and
team starter.
then yeah, and then I'd say one more. Um, I think I would put oh well, obviously Yuhei because he's
Yeah.
already, But for more of the people in the under 20, under 23s, I'd say Callum Bloxham,
Hmm.
who was our captain in Bangkok.
Yeah.
And then some 2008, 2009, I'm gonna put Joshua Baker.
Hmm.
He's
Obviously, yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, very, very surprised to see his level. And, he's a very, very good player. 2009, again, I put Kai.
Kai, yeah. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, Kai, Nicky, Jack Benny, all those football club players.
Hmm.
Um, and then Jeffrey that
Jeffrey,
plays in
you mean
Portugal.
Jeffrey Chin.
Very, very, very good player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish to see him like at a higher level.
Yeah, I played with him unfortunately in Bangkok the teams were rotated, so I didn't have him as my partner in
Hmm.
the midfield. But all throughout the week in training, he was with me in the midfield, and it was very, 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 very fun to play with him.
Yeah. Like the positioning and the movement is just
Yeah, I
like,
mean, you can tell, plays in Europe. It's quite, yeah, you can tell.
all right, very impressive time, like a very enjoyable time with you, Emilio. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
Hey,
it.